The 13th floor is a designation of a level of a multi-level building that is often omitted in countries where the number 13 is considered unlucky. Omitting the 13th floor may take a variety of forms. The most common include denoting what would otherwise be considered the 13th floor as level 14, giving the 13th floor an alternate designation such as 12A or M, the 13th letter of the Latin alphabet, or closing the 13th floor to public occupancy or access, for example, by designating it as a mechanical floor. Reasons for omitting a 13th floor include triskaidekaphobia on the part of the building's owner or builder, or a desire by the building owner or landlord to prevent problems that may arise with superstitious tenants, occupants, or customers. In 2002, based on an internal review of records, Dilip Rangnekar of Otis Elevators estimated that 85% of the buildings with Otis brand elevators did not have a floor named the 13th floor. Early tall building designers, fearing a fire on the 13th floor, or fearing tenants' superstitions about the rumor, decided to omit having a 13th floor listed on their elevator numbering. This practice became commonplace, and eventually found its way into American mainstream culture and building design. Vancouver city planners have banned the practice of skipping 4s and 13s, since it could lead to mistakes by first responders, for example going to the wrong floor. The origin of skipping the 13th floor when installing elevators is not known. However, during the advent of early skyscrapers, New York architectural critics warned developers not to exceed the height of the 13th floor. These critics insisted that buildings rising above the 13th floor, 130 feet or 40 meters, would lead to increased street congestion, ominous shadows, and lower property values. Nevertheless, in a work published in 1939, sociologist Otto Neurath compared the use of money in an economy, which he saw as unnecessary, to the superstition of not installing the 13th floor, merely a social convention. Most commonly, 13 is skipped, as in 12, 14, 15. The floor labeled 14 on the elevator is the 13th floor, and the number 13 is skipped on the elevator console. Sometimes to keep numbers consistent, the 13th floor is simply renumbered as 12A or 12B, as in 12, 12A, 14, or 12, 12B, 14. This does not affect the numbers of the higher floors. Likewise, 14 could be used for the 13th floor, and 14A or 14B could be used for the 14th floor. Other buildings will often use names for certain floors to avoid giving a floor on the building the number 13 designation. One such example is the Radisson Hotel in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where the 13th floor is called the pool floor. Another example is the Sheraton on the Falls in Niagara Falls, Ontario, where the 13th floor consists solely of a restaurant. A third example is the Trump International Hotel and Tower Chicago in Chicago, Illinois, where the 13th floor is the mezzanine floor. Sometimes, the floor is put to some other use, such as a mechanical floor. Such usage is sometimes the subject of conspiracy theories. In Richmond, Virginia, the Monroe Park Towers has a 13th floor, but it is used for mechanical equipment, and is only accessible from the freight elevator or the stairs. The M designation on the elevator buttons of the freight elevator can also be construed as meaning the mechanical level in this particular building, or as a mezzanine level. Sometimes, a tenement block will contain split-level apartments where the units themselves contain internal staircases, and the main elevators for the building therefore do not stop on every floor. One example is Princess Towers in Kingston, Ontario, which has 16 plus half stories excluding the rooftop. The elevators stop at B, basement, G, ground, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15th floors only. In this case, the unmarked 11th and 13th floors are accessed within units on the marked 12th floor. In a 2007 Gallup poll, 13% of American adults reported that they would be bothered if given a hotel room on the 13th floor, while 9% indicated that they would be sufficiently bothered to request a room on a different floor. Research on 13th floor effects on real estate values presents a mixed picture. Several prominent American real estate developers have claimed that they are unaware of any reduction in the value of 13th floor offices or apartments. On the other hand, in a study conducted in Russia, Baraka found that 13th floor apartments were less likely to sell than were apartments on 12th or 14th floors. This effect, however, was eliminated if developers offered buyers a 10% or greater discount on the cost of 13th floor apartments. Similarly, new buildings in some parts of China avoid the 4th, 14th, 24th, etc. floors, as the word 4 sounds like death in Mandarin, the predominant language for the country, and most other varieties of Chinese. A small number of buildings also follow the American tradition of omitting the 13th floor, with the 15th floor immediately following the 12th. Another variant found in Vietnam is naming floors 13 and 14 as floors 12A and 12B respectively. In South Korea, buildings tend to include the 4th floor in spite of similar pronunciation issues in the Korean language, though some newer buildings may substitute the letter F in the place of the number 4. In some buildings, 13 is also skipped as a room number. The 13 room, as of 1946, Boots Court Motel on U.S. Route 66 is one example. Its rooms are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14. Some conspiracy theorists have suggested that the 13th floor in government buildings is not really missing, but actually contains top-secret governmental departments, or more generally that it is proof of something sinister or clandestine going on. This implication is often carried over, implicitly or explicitly, into popular culture, for example in the films The 13th Floor, Nightmare on the 13th Floor, and 1408. The Hidden Research and Development Labs of Network 23 in the television program Max Headroom. The Top Secret Research and Development Division of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in the 5th book of the series, Mostly Harmless. The computer game Floor 13 by Virgin Interactive. The sci-fi comedy Red Dwarf where Floor 13 referred to a secret brig which was several decks high. The Book Company by Max Berry. The Superman story in Action Comics number 448, June 1975, featured a secret 13th floor used to teleport alien tourists from another planet to visit Earth. The Night of Owls storyline in Batman features the 13th floors of Gotham's buildings being used as bases by the assassins of a secret society that has ruled Gotham for generations. The level the 13th floor in the computer game Tomb Raider Chronicles. The episode Grey 17 is missing of the TV series Babylon 5 has a similar theme of a missing floor number actually containing a hidden floor with dark secrets. The psychedelic rock band The 13th Floor Elevators. The Rockford Files episode Sticks and Stones May Break Your Bones, but Waterbury Will Bury You. The TV series Warehouse 13 that housed the wonders of the world, and did not exist on any map. The first season episode Ghost in the Machine of the TV series The X-Files features a scene where the central operating system reads aloud each distinct level, omitting the 13th floor as the elevator ascends. In the Marvel Comics event storyline Iron Man 2020, an army of rebel robots and artificial intelligences have a safe haven in the form of an extra-dimensional plane of existence made of solid light called the 13th floor that can be reached through any elevator in Manhattan, and access to it manifests in the form of a button for the 13th floor that only cyber beings can see that appears off to the side of a regular floor button panel. In the film No Country for Old Men Carson Wells, Woody Harrelson, mentions to Man Who Hires Wells, Stephen Root, that one floor in a building seems to be missing.